everybody. I'm Laura Trump, coming to you from Studio 45 at Trump Tower in New York City. They used to stand for democratic principles, but now their radical attacks against President Trump prove that Democrats stand for retribution. Joining me is the co-host of the Blunt Force Truth podcast, Chuck Woolery. Chuck, thank you so much for being back with us.
We get together once a year.
I know. Well,
I think I talked to you. Yeah,
we'll have to do it more often. Democratic principles, Chuck, used to be the common denominator that united adversaries in Washington. How did the left get so committed to retribution? What is going on?
Well, you know, there are a lot of things that are happening, but just recently, within the last 3 years, your father-in-law happened. President Trump came on the scene. No one expected him to win.
Right.
The Democrats certainly didn't. The FBI didn't. The CIA didn't. The NSA didn't. I mean, you name any, alphabet soup part of the government, and none of them expected him to win because they'd done their work in Ukraine. They'd done their work in Russia. And they'd done their work through the FBI and everybody else. So we know that that table had been set. So when he upset that apple cart, and the American people elected him to be president, they were stunned at first. They cried, they wailed, they did everything. And then they said, how can we get him back?
Right.
We never expected him to win. So now how can we get him back? We've got to sully him some way. So now we come to the point where they've tried with the Russia investigation, didn't work, the Mueller report and all that kind of stuff. So now we come down to where they're going to impeach him. Your father-in-law was the catalyst to bring them out from under the rock. He's exposing them for who they are. And I think it's great for the American people, frankly. I think they need to see this.
Well,
because quite frankly, government is not working for the people and by the people.
That's right.
It's working for the government and by the government.
Yeah, and it's so necessary now, and they did need to see it because, let's be honest, the media has been the marketing arm of the Democrat Party for a long time. They have hidden all of these things that you're talking about, and so now it took someone like President Trump to come in here to really expose them for who they are. That's why you see so many Democrats fleeing their party and now coming out to vote for President Trump. We see Democrats who are now switching to the Republican Party who are still members of Congress. But that doesn't diminish the fact that what we see going on right now is complete nonsense. It's awful for the country. But as you can imagine, Chuck, President Trump had quite a bit to say about the impeachment at a Trump rally in Battle Creek, Michigan. I want you to take a quick look at this.
By proceeding with your invalid impeachment, you're violating your oath of office. You're breaking your allegiance to the Constitution. You're declaring open war on American democracy. You dare to invoke the Founding Fathers in pursuit of this election nullification scheme. You are the one subverting America's democracy. We did nothing wrong, nothing whatsoever. This was just an excuse. You are the ones obstructing justice. You are the ones bringing pain and suffering to our republic for your own selfish, personal, political, and partisan gain.
Don't you think impeachment will always be thoroughly discredited throughout our history? Nobody really believes that this is accurate or what they're doing right now makes any sort of sense.
Depends on who writes the history. That's the way Churchill said it. He said, how do you think history will treat you, Mr. Churchill? He said, it'll treat me great. I'll write it. President Trump came in as a non-politician, never having to run for anything, and just beat everybody like a drum, and certainly beat Hillary like a drum. And so he doesn't have to lie about anything. He keeps his promises. All of these things, he's been extraordinarily successful. I'm not going to go over all the economic news. Everyone knows it by now. But it's just incredible what he's been able to achieve in the face of massive resistance by the other side. And also by many elites in the Republican Party and many non-Trumpers, never-Trumpers that I still don't understand today. But they're there. And Bill Kristol's and the people of that world.
Well, listen, we have to thank you because it's not easy always to come out and say that you support this president. The media vilifies everyone who does it, especially, Chuck, when you have a background like you do in Hollywood. You recently tweeted the following: I have pretty much destroyed my career by openly supporting Trump and letting all know I am a conservative. Tell me about that.
The interesting part about that tweet is I thought about that, and that wasn't a knee-jerk kind of thing. I thought about it. I think, I'm going to put this out. And I want to see exactly what happens with this and how the Twitter world treats it. It is the biggest, if you want to call it successful, most successful tweet of my career on Twitter. And the reason it is because I projected that the Democrats had beaten me, that the left had beaten me. And just because I supported Trump and because I was conservative, I failed in my career now. I have no career left. And they picked it up and ran with it like a dog. They loved it. Okay, so now in reality, to a certain extent, that's true. And I thought it was important because I'm at a time in my life now, at my age and thinking like I'm thinking and thinking about my children, is that I really felt like I need to take a stand. And so I did. And here I am on your show talking about President Trump. And
here you are. Yeah, we love it. Well, again, it's not easy, and we really appreciate the outward support for this president. But, you know, you're talking about losing audiences. The reality is, I think that people, while they might tune in to maybe the wrong news outlet and get fake news out there, they feel the way this economy is working for them. They feel the great changes that this president has been able to make. You know, with such strong job creation, with the incredible trade deals we're seeing happen already in 2019, and it's not over yet. What is your current outlook for the 2020 election? What do you think we're going to see happen?
I don't want to get ahead of myself. I know that one thing, we're into poll season now. Everything's polled here and polled there. Well, we saw how that worked out the last time.
We can't ever believe the polls when it comes to Donald Trump, but you know that, Chuck. I don't have to tell you.
Exactly. So I personally feel, and I think a lot of people agree with me, that the Democrats have made a huge tactical error. But I really, there are two sides to this. They felt like it was worth making a tactical error to lose Congress, to lose the House, lose the Senate, and lose the presidency in order just to stain the president. They have taken this chance just to take their last slap at him.
Yeah.
And I think it's going to be held against them, and it should be, because this is ridiculous. They keep saying no one is above the law. Well, unless you're an illegal alien, no one is above the law.
Right. Unless
you're in a sanctuary city, nobody's above the law. Unless you have a sanctuary county, state, nobody's above the law. They're all above the law. That's the problem with them.
Yeah.
And we are just the people who give them money and elect them.
Not anymore, hopefully.
Yeah,
hopefully
no kidding.
We get them all out. But you know what? It's true. What you're saying about us trying to stain the president is true, because when you look, Chuck, at who they are offering up on the Democrat side to run against Donald Trump, they know full well none of these people have the support of the American people behind them. None of them. Who's going to beat Donald Trump from that group?
Unless we've gone completely socialist and Bernie Sanders and Elizabeth Warren and Pete Buttigieg. I mean, Pete Buttigieg, he's an interesting guy, and nobody's ever mentioned this before. His father, who was a professor at Notre Dame and a Marxist, used to celebrate Lenin's birthday every year, or pardon me, Karl Marx's birthday every year.
Really?
In the family, they would celebrate it. I mean,
I've never heard of that.
I know. These are the kind of people who are running for the Democrats. So, yeah, it's thin. I mean, they got nothing to offer except just hatred and rhetoric and rebellion and resistance. And I think the American people are tired. I think the American people are just tired, period.
We're exhausted. Are you kidding? They put us through 2 years of the Mueller investigation, $30 million we had to pay to find out what we all knew from the beginning. There was nothing to do with Russia, with Donald Trump winning the election. Made no difference. It had nothing to do with anything Russian. It had to do with the American people wanting somebody to get in there and fight for them.
The people who were stirring up Russia, and on top of that, everybody, there are a large percentage of the American people who truly believe that Russia changed votes. Okay, and when you listen to the Democrats there, what are they saying now? And he'll do it again.
Oh, my gosh.
Okay,
These people are so delusional.
The Russians never changed a single vote, and neither did the Ukrainians. And quite frankly, the Democrats are working both of those entities and blaming Trump for it.
Exactly. No, it's exactly right. Well, Chuck, we appreciate, again, everything you do out there every day. You're a true patriot. Thank you for supporting this president. Thank you for supporting this country.
Easiest thing I've ever done in my life.
Oh, well, we hope to have you back on before a year has passed again.
Well, okay, I'll count the days or the months.
All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Laura. All right. Thanks, everybody.
while the Democrats only support retribution. They'll see where that gets them as they go up against President Donald Trump in 2020. That's the real news for today. If you'd like to get involved with Team Trump, go to donaldjtrump.com or text Trump to 88022 to join our winning team. I'm Laura Trump from Studio 45 at Trump Tower in New York City. Thanks for joining us, everybody.